We wear these all day here at the nursery, but since we're alone, I'll take it off here so you can understand me a little better. Today I want to talk about dormancy and watering, both outdoors in your landscape and indoors during the winter time. Dormancy involves the shortening of days and usually the cooling of weather in most cases. So we're going to focus on those plants that as autumn comes begin to work toward being dormant or at least resting and requiring less of everything they normally need. Outdoors, it's a critical time, especially with the drought that we're in here throughout the Rocky Mountain West, especially here in northern Colorado and around the region, as well as the fact that we are losing moisture underground through this drought. There's a great need for you watering the plants throughout the winter. One of the things we want you to understand is that we do this on warm days. We give it enough moisture going into the fall season and prior to the ground freezing for the plant to be well taken care of underground after frost occurs and the cold gets into the ground. One of the good ways to protect your plant over the winter is through thorough mulching around the base of the plant and the root zone. So that's step number one. Second, thorough watering going into November here in northern Colorado, and then periodically during the winter time on those days well above freezing where we can get outside and get water to go down and percolate down in the ground. So this might be 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 times during the course of the year and an adequate amount of water. Sprinkler system is turned off so we can reattach the hose, never forgetting to take it off the nozzle again, or better yet, fill up a large watering can or a bucket of water and be able to go out and pour it gently onto the plants. So for more information, we ask you to check out other videos on that subject in more detail, as well as some handouts that we have here at the nursery. And in fact, I have a copy here of some fall and winter watering advice that we provide here at Fossil Creek. So they're available here in the store, and don't hesitate to pick some of those up. Indoors, things aren't any different for most plants. There are plants like cyclamen but that grow and bloom, or like Christmas cactus during the cold months. Most house plants, we have a selection of a kind of a different grouping of water needs and fertilizer needs right here as examples. Most of them go into that quiet period. This is an asparagus fern variety called plumosa. It's very airy and fine, gentle to the touch. Requires a lot of moisture. We tend to want to mist this plant frequently or have it on a pebble tray or in humidity. I keep it here in the greenhouse under heavy shade and in an area of light need plants. So this is one that really likes to stay moist. If you let it dry out at all, that's not bad, but immediately upon drying out, we want to give it a thorough drenching and draining through the pot again to stay moist. This is a goldfish plant. We have it in a hanging basket. Produces a beautiful flower in a striking orange look, therefore the name of goldfish with a big open mouth on the bloom. And this one is a moderate plant need for water. This one, Aeonium, is one of my favorite succulents that starts out as a little roseate in the ground like Echeveria or Sempervivum, an outdoor plant called hens and chicks, but then grows into tree form and has its foliage up on the tree. Makes a great bonsai, by the way. But here's one that we let dry out just a bit. It loses its leaves underneath and the tips tend to turn a little brown. So all we do is reach in and pop that leaf off as it browns and the tree grows up. But this is one that doesn't take a lot of water. As far as fertilizer goes, all of them could use a little bit of food during the course of the year, but we reduce frequency quite dramatically, and we reduce the quantity of food by the formula. We just simply give it less in the mixture of water or in pellets or whatever you're feeding than we normally would in a normal feeding. So approaching the winter, whether you have a succulent and cactus on one end or a fern, Boston or Plumosa or another kind on the other, be aware that we reduce watering, but we don't remove ourselves from understanding what the general needs of the plant are, each plant, species, and varietal. Thanks for being with us. We remind you to come by and visit us here at Fossil Creek. And until next time, I wish you happy gardening.